students, today we will discuss about the what are the data structures used in design of assembler. In previous class we have discussed about, okay, so what do you mean by assembler, what are the different types of assemblers, okay, so and what is the object code, object program, what are the different formats of object code, all those things we have discussed in previous class. Today we will discuss about this, what are the data structures used. The outline of this today's class is what are the data structure used in assembler, and what do you mean by operation code, what do you mean by location counter, what do you mean by symbol tables. These three are nothing but an data structures of that assembler. And next one is assembly. So what do you mean by assembly? And after that we will have a pass one assembler, and pass one assembler and pass two assembler. So these are all the things we will discuss in this today's class. Okay, so here the data, what are the data structures are used in design of assembler? There are three important data structures are used in the design of two pass assemblers. Okay, so we already know that there are three different types of assemblers, and that is a pass one assembler, pass two assemblers, and that is single pass assembler, two pass assembler, and multi pass assembler. So we are concentrating only on two pass assemblers. Okay, so it means when you are converting assembly level language to machine level language, so at that time, so if you are using two passes, then we will call it as a two pass assembler. In this two pass assembler, we are having three important data structures. Okay, so one is operation code table, that one we will call it as a op tab. Second one is, okay, second one is location counter, then third one is the symbol tables. So what do you mean by operation code, what do you mean by location counter, what do you mean by symbol table? All those things we will discuss in this today's class. Okay, so then what do you mean by operation code or a op tab? So you are writing a instructions in the assembly language, that is add. Then what is the equivalent of that add machine code? Okay, so and what is add a comma b, whatever it may be. So that what is the opcode of that object code of that instruction. Like that we will have n number of instructions in assembly language. So this opcode table, it will maintains the machine level equivalent of that particular instruction. Okay, so that one we will call the machine code, we will call it as an opcode. Okay, so here that instructions we will call it as a mnemonic. Opcode and mnemonic, that is the two important things here. So this operation code table consists of the following fields. One is mnemonics, okay, so another one is format, and third one is opcode. Okay, first one is the mnemonic, another one is format, and third one is the opcode. What do you mean by mnemonic? A mnemonic field contains the symbolic representation of the machine instruction. Okay, so here instruction machine, symbolic representation of machine instruction. Suppose you are loading a data from memory to accumulator. For that we are using a LDA. Like that we will have a STA, store from accumulator to then add, mul, sub. So a lot of instructions are there. For each instructions we need to write a machine level code. Okay, so we need to write a machine level code. So for that what we are doing, those instructions we will call it as a mnemonics. Okay, so here example, that is LDA is a symbolic name for loading the data into a accumulator. Okay, so LDA is a symbolic name for loading the data into a accumulator. Okay, so that mnemonic field is nothing but a representation of a instruction. Okay, that is the first one. In second one is format. So format is which gives the length of the instruction. Okay, in the SIC machine architecture and SIC XC machine architecture, we have discussed this instruction format. In SIC, we will have a format one format, and that is format one, format two, format three. That is, if the instruction is using one byte length, then we will call it as a format one. If the instruction is using 2 byte, so at that time we will call it as a, if the instruction is using 2 bytes as a total length, then we will call it as a format 2. If the instruction is using 3 bytes, then we will call it as a format 3. So that is that is format 3. These things, three formats are available in SIC machine architecture. In SIC XC machine architecture, in addition to that, we will have format 4. It means the instruction which is using 4 bytes of instruction format. So then we will call it as a, that one will be a format 4. Okay, so these are the 4 different formats are available. Okay, in opcode table, in first column we will have a mnemonic, second column we will have a format, whether it will be 3 or 4, and third column we will have a opcode. Opcode is nothing but a operation code. What is that operation code? This is the machine level code for a particular instruction. Okay, so for add we will have a 14C. For a store STA we will have a FF. That is hexadecimal values we have. Okay, so then for mul we will have a 0C. Like that we have a different machine equivalent codes. That one we will call it as a opcode for each mnemonic. That is, mnemonic is nothing but a instruction. Hence it is a static table. So those opcodes are already predefined, so we can't, it can't change anything. So that's why we will call it as it is a static table. Okay, so these are the three important fields are available in opcode table. Okay, that is, in first column we'll have a mnemonic, that is the instruction. Second column, the length of the instruction, it will be format 1, format 2, format 3, format 4. And third one, it will be the opcode machine equivalent. That one we will call it as a opcode for each instruction. That instruction is nothing but a mnemonic. Okay, so these are the three different formats are available in three fields are available in this opcode table. Okay, that one simply we will call it as optab. Then location counter. So this location counter is a variable, okay, denoted by LOCCTR, is a variable which is used to keep track of address of each instructions. So here in opcode, an optab way, what we are doing, machine equivalent of that instruction. So here in location counter, address of that instruction. Okay, so that address of instructions are available in location counter. This location counter is initialized. Okay, so the to beginning address specified in the start statement present at the beginning of the program. So it means so initially the first address of that location counter will be the starting address of that program. That's all. Okay, so location counter is initialized to beginning address specified in the start statement present at the beginning of the program. So it means it contains the the beginning. Okay, the location counter is initialized with a starting address of the program. After each instruction is processed, the length of the assembled instruction or a length of the data area is added to location counter. Okay, so after each instruction is processed, the length of the assembled instruction, okay, it may be length is 3 or 4, or a length of a data area, it may be the 3 bytes or a 4 bytes or a 2 bytes. So those things will be updated after each instruction is processed. Okay, so like that it will process. Then after that, okay, this location counter is used to assign address to each instruction. Okay, so length is also copied, length of the instructions is also copied. Then after that, it will assign the address to each instruction. If 10 instructions are there, add, sub, mul, divide, OTA, store, load, whatever it may be, if those things are there, for all those instructions it will assign the address. Okay, that is the thing. So usually this location counter, it is maintains, it is used to assign the address of each instruction. Okay, so then after that, when you get a label, so suppose if you go to jump, that label, so when you get a label in the source program, then current value of locations counter gives the address of that label. Okay, the current value of the location counter gives the address of the label. So when you get a label, it will give the address of that label. Okay, next, the address obtained in the previous step along with the labels is entered into the symbol table, are called sim tab. Okay, that label, initially the label address are copied to sim tab. Okay, so I will discuss that sim tab in next thing. Okay, so the address obtained in the previous step along with the label is entered into the symbol table called sim tab. Okay, so I'm jumped to particular label, so then I need to get that address of that label. Okay, so that one will be obtained in the previous step along with the label is entered into the that to maintain that address, to maintain the label address we are using this sim tab. Okay, so here location counter, the address of each instruction. So first thing is what we are doing in location counter, it will be initialized with the starting address of the program, first thing. So then after that it will copy the length of instruction and data, and third one it will assign the address of each instruction. When the label comes, it will get the address of that label. Okay, these are the things it will do in this location counter. Location counter is nothing but a maintaining the address of instructions. That is the main important thing. Then third one is symbol table. Okay, so symbol table that are used to store the labels and their address. Okay, a symbol, this symbol tables which is used to store the labels. Okay, so if you are using 5 labels, it will take the 5 labels. Okay, okay, so it will take the 5 tables, so 5 labels, and it will assign the address. Okay, it will, it will maintain that address of that labels. Okay, that one we will call it as a symbol table. This table which is used to store the labels and their address. Two things. Okay, the table that is used to store the labels and their address is called the symbol table. So that one, we will call it as sim tab. Simply we will call it as sim tab. Okay, so symbol table, it is labels and their address. If you remember this one, this is MR, that is label and their address. Opcode, instruction and address. Okay, sorry, location counter, instruction and their address. Sim table, symbol table, label and their address. Then op tab, that is instruction and opcode. That's all. Three things you need to remember. Okay, so this symbol table contains the two fields. One is name field and another address field. What is name field and what is address field? So during the pass one, all labels in the source program are entered into simple table along with assigned address. Okay, so what we will do? So name field is nothing but a label name, address field is nothing but address of that label. Okay, so here what it will do in symbol table, in pass one, during the pass ones, all labels in the source program are entered into symbol table and copy the address, assigned address. Okay, for that label. Okay, during the pass one, it will list all. Suppose if you find addresses are there, 5 labels are there, all 5 labels are copied to symbol table and corresponding address during the pass one. Okay, in pass two, what it will do, when the labels are used as operands in the instruction. Okay, so when the labels we are using as an operands, at that time the labels are searched in the symbol table. Okay, so if you are using as an operand, a label as an operand, at the time it will search for the symbol table. If the symbol table, if that particular symbol is available in sim tab, then it will get the address from that sim tab. It will get the address. Okay, so this address is used to assemble the instruction, to convert, to convert the machine code. At that time this address will be used during the second pass. In first pass, it will list all the labels and their address. In second pass, if that labels are used as an operands, it will get the address of that operand from the sim table. That's all. Okay, so these are the three things. Okay, so these are the three things what we have. Okay, so these are the three things what we have, data structures when you are designing a assembler. Okay, so in two pass assembler, one is op tab. Op tab is, if we are telling generally, so op tab is maintain instruction or a mnemonic and the corresponding opcode, and in location counter, instruction and their address, symbol table, label and their address. Only three things are there now. So in assembly level language, so it may be instruction and labels. Okay, so instructions and labels. So instruction and address will be location counter, label and address in symbol table, and third, that is first one is opcode is nothing, op tab is nothing but a instruction and equivalent machine code. So these are the three things. Okay, so next, what do you mean by assembly? Assembly is nothing but the process of converting assembly level language program into object program or a machine program is called an assembly. Okay, the process of converting the assembly level language to machine level language, that process we are calling as a assembly. So here we are using assembly as two passes. One is pass one and pass two. These are the two passes what we have. Okay, so pass one and pass two, in two different steps we are converting the assembly level language into machine level language. What do you mean by pass one? Okay, so in pass one, what we are doing, the main job of assembler in this pass is to define the symbol table. We already know that the symbol table. Symbol tables is nothing but it maintains the label and their address. Okay, so in the main job of this assembler in this pass is to define the symbol table. First it will create the symbol table. Okay, so then after that what it will do, it will assigns of all instructions in the program. It will assign the addresses, okay, addresses of all instructions in the program. So it means in location counter, so it will create the location counter. In that location counter it will assign the address of all instructions, and like that it will assign the addresses to all labels. So in sim table it will assign the addresses to all labels and save the addresses assigned to all labels in the symbol table. Okay, fine. It will assign the addresses. After that, obviously, automatically it will save the content addresses assigned in the label all labels in the symbol table. Okay. So then after that, process some of the assembler directives also. So if we have assembler directives in the program, it will process some of the assembler directives, and it includes the length of the data area defined in the assembler directives. So these are the assembler directives what we are using: byte, word, reserve word, reserve byte, reserve word. Okay, byte is nothing but a length is one, word is nothing but a format. If you are using a format 3, it will be 3 with 3 bytes. That one will call it as a word. Reserve byte, reserve byte, how many bytes you are reserving and how many words you are reserving. So these are the assembler directives. It will process these assembler directives. Okay, it includes the length of the data, okay, based on that assembler directive. Okay, so this is the job of first pass. The first pass job is nothing but it will assign the, it will define the symbol table. Okay, so it means this is the symbol tables means nothing but it will assign label and their address, instruction and their address. Okay, okay, so label and their address, instruction and their address. Instruction their address is in location counter, label and their address is in symbol table. Okay, so then it will say that content of symbol table. Then after that it will process the assembler directives. These three things will be done in pass one. Okay, so if they ask in exam what are the jobs of first assembler, pass one assemblers, so it will if I tell in simply, it will assign the assign the label and their address and instruction and their address, and it will process the assembler directives. Three important jobs of pass one assembler. In pass two assemblers, what it will do, the main job of assemble in this pass is to generate the object program. So in pass one we are assigning the address, that's all, nothing. We are, and we are assigning the address, and we are taking the length of that assembler directives, that's all. So in pass two what we are doing, okay, so in pass two the main job of assembler, it is converting from, okay, so pass one it is converted from assembly level language to object program to generate the object program. Okay, so here how it will convert the assemble the instruction, that is translate the assembly language instruction to object code using optab. So in opcode, using opcode. So I already in optab, so for each instructions we will have a corresponding opcode, that is object code. Okay, so here from that optab it will takes the corresponding opcode of that particular instruction. Okay, so convert the data defined using assembler directives, byte or word. So it will convert the data defined. So what are the I have defined byte, whatever you are assigning the data. So that one everything will be converted the data defined in that assembler directives, and process the assembler directives that have not been processed in pass one. Okay, so here suppose some assembler directives not processed in pass one, it will process and write the object program. Okay, so it will write the object program and write the list files. It is optional. Okay, so in main thing is in this pass 2 is it will convert the object program. Okay, how it will convert the object program? So here for each instructions we have designed a for each instruction, that is for each mnemonic in the opcode table, in optab table we will have a corresponding opcode. Opcode is nothing but an object code for a particular instruction, that is machine code for a particular instruction. We are maintaining that opcode. In opcode whatever the instructions are available, whatever mnemonics are available in the program, those are listed, and corresponding opcode or a machine code is available. From that we are converting that one to mesh object program. Okay, and it will process the assembler directives which are not processed in the pass one. Okay, and it will convert the data defined in the assembler directives. Okay, and it will write the object program, and it will list the files. Okay, that is optional. Okay, so these are the, okay, so these are the things what in past two it has done. Okay, so in past one, instruction and their address. Okay, in past one, instruction and their address. In past two, okay, so in past two we will have a particular instruction and the opcode, that one will be, that is object program will be created. These are the two passes. Okay, so next is very important is assembler algorithm to complete the job of assembler, including various data structures and files created by the assembler. So here assembler algorithm, we will have two important pass1 and pass2 algorithm. Okay, so we need to discuss that one in detail. So there is two big algorithms. Okay, so before that I will give how this process will this operation code and opcode and symbol table and location counter, how these things are available in this when you are converting from source program to object program. Okay, so here we will have a source program, we will, here we will have a pass one. Okay, so in this pass one, what we are doing, so in pass one we are assigning, you know in pass one we are listing that mnemonics and corresponding corresponding opcode in the op tab. Okay, so in pass one what you are doing, so we are listing, in pass one what you are that labels in location counter, instruction and their address we are doing, then after that symbol and their address. Okay, so we are doing in that, and in op tab, the op tab we are maintaining the opcode and instruction and the opcode. Okay, so in pass one we will get, after pass one we will get an intermediate file. So in pass two, actually we are converting that one to object program using this op tab. Okay, so in op tab what we have, mnemonics and the corresponding opcode is there. So using that we will convert that one to object program. So in pass one what we are doing, so we are assigning address and labels and their address, instruction and their address. Okay, in pass two we will have a, yeah, we will get an uh, in opcode table we will have an instruction and their corresponding object code. So using those two things we will convert that one to object program. So these are the three important data structure. In exams if they ask what are the different three data structures used in this design of algorithm, design of pass to assemblers, so at that time we need to write operation code table, symbol table and location counter. These are the three things which are used in this algorithm. Okay, so today we are, I will continue this pass one and pass two algorithm. So I need one full class for pass one, and I need full class of pass two.